financial services, of course, playing a critical role in unlocking the full potential of economies. How would you be rating right now the gearing of Africa's financial services industry to meet that expectation?
I think we're in a really exciting time, and you hear that very much right the way through the conversations in Davos. You've got all of the African countries, as they're growing, as GDP is growing, they want the insurance sector, they want financial services to blossom. So it's really an exciting time and a good time for our company with our expansion into Africa.
There's policy formulation versus policy execution. Are we doing too much of the former, not enough of the latter?
Well, I think you've got to do the former first really before you do the latter, and I think we really are now onto that stage where we really mean business and real products are being given to consumers.
The leaders here from Africa really putting the emphasis on financial inclusion. Of course, that's a global theme for the most part. How are you rating financial inclusion and the kind of progress that Old Mutual is making in that regard on the continent?
I think it's relatively slow. So, the areas where there is low penetration, East and West Africa, that's where we see the greatest possible growth coming through and the greatest determination for financial inclusion.
Of course, it's providing a lot of opportunity for you and a specific focus placed on Nigeria, growth opportunities there. Run us through things because you're really tackling growth aggressively, and one can only assume it's that population size that's a big draw card.
Well, one of the joys of being in Davos is meeting with a number of presidents of African countries. So it was a great privilege for me to spend some time with the president of Nigeria and various government ministers from that country, and hearing their delight that we are expanding both in short-term insurance and in life insurance in Nigeria, and the welcome that they were giving us because, as I say, financial inclusion, the building of insurance is an important part in that growing economy.
While you have that focus very much in play, I mean, how do you weigh that opportunity against what many deem investment risk at this stage? I mean, you're looking at things like nationalization, empowerment initiatives coming into play, and, standing starkly out there is what we're seeing play out in Zimbabwe specifically.
Well, you have to weigh up, and this is the role of a leader, looking at the short term and the longer term. I want Old Mutual to be bigger and better in 15, 20 years' time, not just good where it is now. And so, yes, there are going to be peaks and troughs, there will be rocky roads, but I absolutely believe this is the right way forward. And you'll have a substantial growth in financial inclusion, in insurance industries, in financial services in generally in Africa, and I want my company to be part of it.
What's been for you the highlight of the World Economic Forum 2013?
I think you've got two different things taking place. First of all, you've got the bullishness of people from the emerging markets, and I think cautious optimism from the developed markets that maybe the problems are behind. But also, I was on a session this morning when somebody from Japan was talking about the mistakes they'd made in Japan, and they really wanted the emerging economies to learn from their mistakes and make sure they don't happen. And that's the good thing about Davos, sharing from one group of people to another group of people. And it's been a good time here.
Let's leave it there. Julian, thanks so much for having joined us today. Of course, Julian Roberts, CEO of Old Mutual, joining us here at the World Economic Forum 2013 in Davos.
Well, thanks so much for that, Alishia. And of course, certainly when it comes to Davos cynics, some positive comments around the role and value of Davos that it plays in the global economy.
Absolutely. I mean, the big question mark is, the kind of price tag that comes with that entry into Davos specifically, and whether it's worth that price tag. Perhaps let's bring Julian back into the conversation at this point. Julian, what do you make of that hefty entry price?
It is expensive, but then there is nowhere else where you can meet world leaders, world government officials, world regulators, captains of industry, and we're in a privileged position where we're really trying to get the globe working properly. And if we have to pay money to do that, that's a reasonable price.